Okay, class, I'm going to talk about some very common, more common than perhaps we'd like to imagine, and common enough as problems that should be addressed. And that is when looking at species of leadership that one finds in any organization, but nonprofit organizations too, and perhaps especially so, is you have the leader as a kind of commander-in-chief who has built and demonstrated ability to motivate people to run an organization, and very often creates a circle of devoted followers around that person who are the kind of the managerial core, and they kind of sustain operations. But with this particular type of leadership, often what happens is that you do get a certain rigidity and a resistance to innovation or change, even though they themselves may have been the initiates of innovation and change at one time. And again, this is part of an institutionalization process that can happen. The sort of flip side of this, the opposite side of the dialectic, are people, and these include leaders, who are idea people, who are great at coming up with ideas, not necessarily good at following through. We mentioned before about, the two kind of types that you will get in an organization, one being the face and the other person being the hatchet man, very often in the number one and number two positions. Sometimes the face is also an idea person. Again, they come up with very good, innovative, imaginative ideas, but they don't follow through. And then it's up to that number two or that managerial core around that person to actually follow through. These are challenges. There are no easy solutions to deal with this. These can be ongoing and even chronic problems within nonprofit organization management. And in that sense, it becomes a question of management, that is, managing that type of person and making the best of people who, again, either are idea people or who are commanders-in-chief who resist change, and that may or may not involve persistence in pursuing an idea, or perhaps, shall we call it charm, where you yourself are able to begin slowly to penetrate that circle and become a change agent. There are methods for this to happen, and we're going to explore that a little bit. I'm going to be drawing upon some Covey material to help elaborate. So something to consider. The ideal of collaborative leadership will almost always run up against the commander-in-chief model and perhaps even the idea person model, in that neither of them are amenable to a collaborative way forward. Again, something to consider. Perhaps you've had experience in this yourself. A knotty problem and one that isn't solved overnight. And as I said, to me, the better approach is the one of persistence. But just how one proceeds with that in mind, well, we can discuss that. Okay, that's it for now. We will move on. Pay attention to the Covey material that I will be posting shortly. Thanks.